Very highly requested topic here, how to start an online course. I'm going to show you everything you need to know as a beginner to understand what it means to start an online course, the exact process I follow when I start courses for myself, clients, partners, and who am I? Why should you listen to me? My name's Mark, if we haven't already met. I have started both under my own brands as well as with clients and partners, multiple 6 and 7 figure online programs across a whole bunch of different industries. Was featured in the Course Creator Pro Hall of Fame for doing $2.6 million worth in course launches. I teach course creators weekly at contentcreator.com, as well as do a bunch of my own stuff and have this channel here if you want to check out some additional videos on course creation. So what you need to know is, first of all, what you're getting into. This is a business, and just like any business, it requires investment, learning new skills, getting out of your comfort zone, and I put this in caps because this is really the key: time, grit, and learning from failure. This is not some get-rich-quick scheme. It is not success overnight. Like any business, you need to give it time. You need to be in it for the long game. You need to have grit. You need to understand that you will fail, how to learn from failure, how to swallow a lot of tough pills, and ultimately how to ride the entrepreneurial roller coaster just like any other industry. You're also going to have to learn a lot of different skill sets that you may or may not already know. Product creation, sales, marketing and marketing strategies, messaging and copy, paid media and organic strategies for acquisition, email marketing, business management, and that is just to name a few. Again, we're starting a business. Like any business, it has unique components, but hopefully if you watch this video and maybe some others here on the channel, you can really figure out how to automate a lot of these things and understand how these things really work together, so you can get into course creation without having to do a whole bunch of hurdles or taking a whole bunch of time, and you can get into it and make money ASAP. If you're up for all that, then keep watching, because I'm going to show you the exact strategy and process I use for creating, marketing, and selling profitable courses in almost any niche. I say almost because, in my opinion, there are just some niches that I don't touch because they're just way more trouble than they're worth. Note, each topic I cover could easily be its own video. This is a beginner crash course style video. If you want more in-depth videos or trainings on a specific section, let me know down in the comments. I can put that together for you. So the first thing you really need to understand is market research. This is where, in all of the coaching that I do, all the Q&A that I do, the mentorship that I do, I see most people go wrong, and the main reason most people are failing. They are trying to sell something based off an assumption. They're selling a product that they assumed the market wanted, and typically that's because they're biased, and it just happened to be the thing that they know or the thing they feel confident teaching, and it just so happens that the market wants that very thing, even though that's based on no market research. What happens when we do this is we end up typically going into a red ocean with an offer that nobody wants. So if we drop our offer from this cargo ship, let's say our client is down here at the bottom, and that's where we want to go. Before we can get to the bottom, we're going to get eaten by one of these other fish. And this can also be a result of no competitor analysis. So they didn't actually look into who is in this industry, who owns the market. Can I realistically compete with them? Do I have something unique, or am I just trying to teach the same thing they teach? I see this all the time, especially in one of the industries that my first course was in, which was the filmmaking/videography industry. Everybody comes out trying to make these courses on how to be a better filmmaker when there's already 1 to 3 huge giant brands out there that already own the market. Why would somebody buy from you, someone they've never heard of, when they could buy from the other household name brand that has thousands of testimonials, has done millions in sales, impeccable reviews, huge following, run by notable people in the industry? Why would they choose you over them? Now, I do want to say it is possible to have success in a red ocean. And going back to filmmaking, the first course my business partner and I launched was in that industry. However, while everyone else was teaching how to make better videos, we found an empty space teaching those people that had already bought all these courses how to sell a specific video business model, primarily video strategies, which allowed them to close retainer-based high-ticket deals. So instead of fighting for new clients and one-off projects here and there, making videos that didn't get results for their clients, they started to create actual strategic videos that were paid for monthly so they could have consistent monthly recurring revenue. And we found a nice empty pocket in that red ocean, and we did 7 figures in sales. But again, you need to know your market. We only were able to find that pocket because we had done market research and we understood the market. That comes back to unique selling propositions, right? So you're not finding what makes you unique versus everyone else. You're selling regurgitated copycat content, whether you mean to or not. Now, when you're doing market research, you should be trying to prove to yourself that your offer is not viable. A lot of people go in and they are biased. Do not be biased. When you go in trying to prove to yourself that what you have is in demand, your research is going to be skewed in a way that just affirms what you want to believe. Try to prove yourself wrong, and you need to make sure that you listen to the market. Even if the market is telling you there's not any room for your idea, your offer is not viable. That doesn't mean you can't still break into that market or do something different. It just means that you have to pivot, but you need to listen to that market research. I've seen people spend so much time and waste so much money trying to force a square peg into a round hole, and it just doesn't work. And it's just a fast track to course creation failure. The next thing we need to go over, and actually, you know what? Before we cut. Okay, so I'm going to show you some practical market research application here. So one of the first things that I'll do is I'll actually go to Google Trends. And I'll go into Google Trends and I'll start looking for the industry or the niche I'm in. This is just a good way to gauge basic interest overall. So we're going to launch a course on veganism at the end of this month. So I'm going to search for veganism. And we'll actually click it, veganism, as a topic. And then what I like to do is I like to compare it against a control. So in this case, I'm going to do disc golf because we have a disc golf course. It's extremely successful. And I know, right, this is what I want to see. Disc golf is super niche compared to something like veganism. So this is just a good overall gauge where I'm like, all right, if we have a really successful subscription-based disc golf course, and veganism is obviously tremendously more popular, that's a good initial indicator for me that assuming everything else checks out, I feel good about my chances here. So the next thing I like to do is paste into ChatGPT this market research viability prompt. So I'll open GPT, and in this case, we're going to fill in the blank to in the veganism niche. Of course, I spelled both these things wrong because I'm trying to type too fast. So I'm looking into creating a subscription-based online course in community housed in a mobile app in the veganism niche. Please do an in-depth online search to see if this would be worth exploring further. I want to know the following things. Are there already programs in the market teaching this? Are there other mobile applications teaching this? If so, are they true all-in-one solutions that include course/learning content and community/support element? If so, do you believe there's room in the market for a new product like this? Anything else I should know? So what we want to do as we're doing our market research is start to fill out this market research sheet. And these prompts, this sheet, and everything else I referenced will be linked down in the description below. You can view them. You don't have to opt in. You don't have to pay anything. But if they're helpful, feel free to make copies and use them. So this sheet is what I use. It has some niche info, some influencers if I want to do influencer outreach. I could go into why I would do this. There's two main different reasons, but we're not going to worry about it now. Competitor analysis and marketing data. So we're really just going to focus here on marketing data and competitor analysis. So going back to my prompt here, the first thing it's going to say, exploring the creation of a subscription-based online course in the community within the veganism niche, particularly through a mobile app, is a promising endeavor. All right, so off to a good start. Here's an analysis based on current offerings and market potential. So here it's going to give me some of my competitors. Now, it's not going to list everything. You can obviously prompt this more. If you're better at prompts than me, you could probably make a much better prompt to do this more efficiently. That being said, you are also going to want to do manual research. Go into Facebook communities where, in this case, veganism or vegan people hang out, see the questions they're asking, figure out and gauge interest on certain things, see where there might be holes in the market, right? This is just an initial starting point, but and also go in and ask around, what courses are you guys in? And then add those to your competitors. But let's say VCoco, for example. So I could come in here and I would put in VCoco. And then I would go and just probably do a search for their site. Here it is. And while I'm here, let's see what the price is. Okay, 39 USD per month. Here's some of the offerings that they include. So I could be including all of this, right? Website, price point. We had 39 per month. I could put instructor information, but what I really want to see is, are they running ads? So we can come in here to Facebook Ads Library. And this is really cool if you don't know about this. You can come in and you can do all ads, and we could search VCoco. And here they are, VCoco Academy, and they're not running ads. That's a great sign for me. So if I come back here, running ads, no. And I'm going to do this for all the market research that I can, but this is what I like to see so far, right? They're not running ads. I'll also do things like I'll look at their sales page. This is a pretty decent sales page, but I feel that my skills can easily stack up to this, and I think that we have a really compelling offer, more compelling than this one. So this is all good market research for me. And obviously, veganism passed the vibe check because we're launching a course on it here in a couple weeks. But all that being said, you could work through all this. I'm just going to go ahead and delete this stuff because this is a template that my students use. Next thing I like to do, get some marketing data. So I'll actually go to Facebook Ads Manager, and I'll open up just a blank ad campaign, and I'll start putting in some targeting options. So let's go veganism. I always like to go with the broad term first. So veganism diet, if I click on that, we can see it has a massive potential reach of 34 to 40 million people. What I would do is I would come in here, put in the interest group, veganism, estimated reach. And what I can also do here is get some suggestions. Vegan nutrition, another 49 to 58 mil. Veterinarian cuisine, natural foods. So we can see we've got a massive potential audience of people here that we can target, which ultimately is what we're looking for. So some practical things you can start to do for market research. Again, could create a whole video series on market research on each one of these sections in market research, but this is a great place to get you started at the very least. Okay, the next thing you really need to decide and figure out is what type of pricing structure and product structure are you going to have for your course. Now, the goal here ultimately should be whatever structure you think will give you the highest customer LTV or lifetime value. Easiest way to have a 6 or 7 figure course, it's really essential, really to hit 7 figures, is you need to figure out what will get you the most money from every single customer that comes through your doors and what that looks like. Huge mistake that my business partner and I made for our first product is we sold one thing to one person one time. That meant that we hit a wall a lot sooner in our revenue and cash flow potential, and it meant that we were not maximizing the lifetime value of every customer. We were just getting $500 lifetime value, and it wasn't until much later down the road that we launched a higher level mastermind that we were able to grow that lifetime value, but we left so much money on the table from years of not maximizing lifetime value. We still managed to hit 7 figures once we fixed that a little bit, but we could have done it a lot sooner. So there's two main models here that we use when it comes to determining our structure. The first is what I call the traditional structure. The second is subscription model. So the traditional structure, we're actually going to start here at the bottom, is you're either going to be having lead magnets or low ticket offers. So typically something like a $27 offer or just a freebie. And these are to get people into your ecosystem so you can build trust, reciprocity, give value, get them to know, like, and trust you. So they will eventually buy your flagship offer, your MTO, which is your mid-ticket offer. This might be something between the price of $300 to $800. And then from their mid-ticket, you're going to try to sell them down the road in the customer journey into your high ticket offer. This might be your group coaching, your one-on-one coaching. And then some people at the very top will have some type of monthly recurring revenue service. So like a package that they pay per month to get X calls, some type of exclusive mastermind, maybe in-person events, whatever it is, to get some type of recurring membership subscription revenue coming in. Because ultimately, that's the most easy and predictable way to scale is recurring revenue. Now, you also could, if you're doing the LTO route, low ticket offer route, have order bumps and one-time offers in order to increase the AOV of each customer, the average order value. Good example of this is we sold a low ticket offer for $27, so people would buy that. Then we gave them an order bump, so for $17 they could add on something additional. You see this a lot. So our AOV goes from 27 to 48. And then on the next page, they can get our mid-ticket offer, normally $600, for $300, 50% off. So what we've done there is we've taken someone from a purchase intent of $27 all the way to over $300. So as you can see, this requires building out a lot of different products, and it also requires figuring out the right way to ascend people from freebie to low-ticket offer to mid-ticket to high-ticket to MRR offers. That requires a lot of back-end systems, but we'll talk about the pros and cons here, I think, on the next slide. The next would be the subscription model. This is really what my business partner and I focus on now. We sell low ticket subscriptions because we sell one thing to one person and then they just pay for it monthly or yearly. And we'll talk about, again, on the next slide, which one maybe you should choose, what the pros and cons are, because they both have pros and cons like anything else. So traditional structure, again, we are assuming this is a good/viable offer for both of these, assuming you've done your market research and you have an offer people want. Pros for the traditional structure are you get more upfront cash because typically your AOV is going to be a lot higher. Opportunities for scale, building out those additional products. You can easily get someone, if you do it right, to go from spending $27 and in the next 5 months or 6 months, they've then bought your 600, then maybe they bought a 1K and then they bought a 5K, and all of a sudden you've turned this person into thousands of dollars in revenue. Faster revenue growth, again, as a result of what we just talked about. Easier to increase AOV through those order bumps, upsells, and it's easier to run sales. And sales are going to be a huge thing. I really should make a whole video on that because it's not included here. But things like Black Friday sales, Christmas sales, New Year sales, if done right, especially on products like this, can be super, super profitable. It's ridiculous. Now, some cons for the traditional offer structure: higher acquisition costs, again, because you're selling something that's higher ticket, or you're having to get them into something free, and then low ticket, and then mid ticket, and there could be a cost associated for multiple or at least some of those levels. Harder to market and sell. There's much higher skill level needed to build out a system like this than a system like this. Unpredictable MRR, unless you can really get people into some kind of recurring revenue, then 1 month you might hit 50K, the next month you might do 10K, the next month you might do 90K, then you might have a lull where you're hitting like 5K months and you don't know what's going on. So definitely way less predictable as opposed to getting someone on a subscription. And it's a lot more work across the board. Again, you got to build out multiple offers, understand how they work together, do a lot of testing to figure out what the right path to ascension is, what the right offer structure for ascension is, how to really maximize LTV. It's a lot of work, but it can really pay off if done right. Now, going over to the subscription model, the pros, again, assuming good/viable offer. Way easier to sell/direct to sale. So typically we're doing much lower ticket things like yearly or monthly subscriptions, which means we don't have to generate leads, build a whole lot of trust or reciprocity beforehand. We typically just go direct to sale and then we get that recurring subscription, assuming we keep people. So that MRR is there. Way less work. A lot of times we need no nurturing. We don't have to do upsells. We don't have to do different, like all these different product funnels. We really typically can just go with one sales page, one product, and rely on that MRR. Obviously, you can do upsells and OTOs, but a lot of times it's not needed. Lower cost per acquisition because, again, we are selling much lower ticket items, and depending on what our cost per acquisition is, that monthly recurring revenue can cancel out the CPA and get us into profit really quick. Other opportunities for monetization, so you could do things like advertising in your app, partner with different brands. Depending on the industry, you could sell merch, do sponsorships for events, a whole bunch of different stuff. Cons: requires high volume. Retention, this is really important. Both of these things really are important. So let's go back to high volume. What we're going to be launching here shortly is a $3 per month app because we're going into a massive industry. To make a lot of money for $3 per sale, we need a very high volume of people. That is simply not realistic in some industries that are super niche. So you need to keep that in mind. In order for this to really be profitable, more often than not, you need really high volume. Then you need to retain those people. Because if we are selling something for $3, let's say it costs us $4 to acquire a customer. That means we're losing $1. And we're not making any money until the next month. And even then, we're only making $2 per customer. We need to retain those people for a long time in order for it to make sense. But obviously our goal is going to be to acquire them for less than it costs, less than they're paying us, but that's not always the case. And less upfront cash. Again, we're really relying on volume. It may take 1 to 3 months in order for someone to become profitable, so we have less upfront cash. Do not force your price structure. Some niches are simply better for certain price structures. So if you are trying to force something low ticket subscription, but you're something super niche where you cannot get a high volume of people, maybe that's not the right path. Don't try to force it. Next, step 4, choose the right software. If you've watched anything on my channel, you know that I use Go HighLevel for everything. I have used every software out there for courses specifically, as well as white labeled Go HighLevel variants tailored to course creators. I always end up just going back to vanilla Go HighLevel. If you want to try it for free for 14 days, you can use my affiliate link down below, shameless plug, but you get the same features anyways. And this is a true all-in-one solution. That's why we use it. So you could probably start at the $97 per month. I use the agency $297 per month because we run a ton of courses under our account, so I can just get unlimited sub accounts and switch to everything, have more control over creating mobile apps and all that stuff. But you really, realistically, if you're just starting off creating a course for yourself, you could get the $97 per month plan. As you can see, it's a true all-in-one solution. Literally everything you need as a course creator, every tool you will need for back-end, front-end, marketing, everything, community, is here in HighLevel. So check it out. I've got a ton of videos here on the channel as well, and some resources I'll link here, both on YouTube and down below, that will help you out get accustomed with HighLevel. But 10 out of 10, I recommend HighLevel. I wouldn't use anything else. Next thing is start building out. So we're going to start building out our front end. So I always start with my sales page, then I'll go do my checkout pages, then my confirmation pages. This is for like a very basic 3-step funnel. Again, we can go much more complex. As you can see, this funnel is actually still in the works. But was working on it, so figured why not use it as the example. But this is very, very basic here. I will show you kind of some other different funnels. So like this is a higher tickets funnel. I think this is like a $1,200 program. So this is what a funnel like that might look like. You can see a lot of social proof on here, offer stack. Here's that disc golf program that we run. So this is a yearly subscription funnel. So you can see, again, a lot of social proof. And here's the one we're building out right now. This is our brand new app. We don't have any social proof or anything for it. It's going to be our vegan app. You got a nice toggle here between the monthly and the annual. Obviously, still a lot of work here to go, but these are some different ideas to get your creative juices flowing for some funnel ideas. I also will link down below my YouTube playlist on different funnel styles and anything, or funnel strategies and anything else that might be helpful. Then you need to build out your back end, so you need to build out your product, you need to build out your offer for that product, link those together in your workflows, build out your tagging and segmentation, your emails and SMS, your offer grants, your workflows to do all of this. So everything here can be automated, so the whole process, if someone becomes a lead, to following up with them, to then when they buy something, getting them access, getting them tagged correctly, getting them in the right community, marketing. So right, if we go back to that traditional structure where we have all these different products, anytime someone buys one product, they need to be tagged accordingly and removed from the other products. Well, not from the other product, but each product have its own marketing cycle to get someone into the next product. So someone buys product A, they go into marketing cycle A, which is all focused on getting them to buy product B. When they buy product B, we don't want them to continue to get marketing from product A, so then we have to do all of the right removing of tags and adding new tags, putting them into new workflows. All of this can be automated in the workflows, but there's a lot of back-end systems. Can't go into everything here. I've got videos here on the YouTube channel. Again, we'll link a playlist. And if you have any questions, you can comment down below. You can email me. I can shoot you a custom loom. But yeah, a lot that goes into this here. Then obviously creating your course content, putting together your course library, all that stuff, self-explanatory. Step 6, you need to choose a pre-launch or launch strategy. So typically when we do the traditional structure, we go with this 3-phase pre-launch. When we go with the subscription structure, a lot of times we just go with a full launch. Especially if we're working with an influencer, we'll have most of the content ready to go, we'll have the app ready to go, and we'll just go full launch, full send with our ads, all that stuff. But for this kind of structure, especially when we're doing higher ticket sales, a mistake a lot of people make is they spend a bunch of money on ads and all this stuff before they've gotten any sales, and they've already built the whole course without any feedback. And when you're building a high ticket product, you don't want to dig yourself into too deep of a hole, and you also want to make sure that the course is meeting the needs of the people that you're targeting. If there's a premium price tag attached, you also have a really high refund rate. So what we do is pre-launch, pilot launch, full launch. So we will start to create our content, and we'll get about 10% of the content done. And if we have an email list, we'll start warming up that email list saying, hey, we're launching this new product. We're going to host a workshop covering this new whatever it is. Come check it out. And then on that workshop, we'll give them a 50% discount to get access right now to the first 10%, be an early adopter. We'll give them this massive discount, some other bonuses, whatever it is. right? And the goal is that they're going to jump in, consume that 10%, they're going to give us feedback, and they're going to start to give us reviews. Then we can go to our pilot launch, and by this point, we'll have 30 to 50% of the content done. And this oftentimes can be shaped by the customer feedback we got in the pre-launch. And also, hopefully by this time, we'll have some screenshots of people who have given us good feedback saying that they're really enjoying it, that it's been helpful, that they're getting results just from that 10%. So what we'll do is we'll use that social proof, and then we'll hit our list again, our following, whatever it is for our pilot launch, and we'll say, hey, you missed out on 50% off, but you can still get 30% off for our pilot launch. And then we'll do our full launch. So by this time, we'll have more feedback, more reviews. Then when we get to 100% course completion internally, we'll go ahead and we'll do our full launch at full price. So those are the two pricing strategies that we use. Again, each one of these could easily have its own video. These are complicated strategies. I really simplified them, but if done right, they can both be really effective. So moving right along here, the next thing you need to understand is marketing and scaling. So if you're just starting out, I always recommend people just run meta ads. Meta ads have a much lower learning curve than things like YouTube, Google, TikTok, etc. And they also tend to have the lowest cost per acquisition and just be the easiest to get started with. Eventually, yes, you should diversify, but meta ads are where we usually run about 90% of our advertising. So learn meta ads, got content here on the channel. There's a ton of content online, and also email marketing. These are the two things I really tell beginners. Learn your meta ads basics and learn email marketing basics. So when you're building up an email list, you can nurture them, you can understand how to market your sales and your emails, follow email marketing practices to have a good domain reputation. All this stuff's really important. These are the basics you need to learn. So I have a whole cheat sheet that I use, is what I personally use for scaling, both vertically and horizontally, which are the two main scaling methods. And I'm going to link it down below if you want to check it out. It'll give you the definitions, how to implement it, the key metrics to look at. Some good stuff here, and also KPIs and analytics, and you can grab this KPI and analytic cheat sheet down below. A lot of people always ask me, what should I look at for my ad campaigns, for my funnels, for my emails? These are kind of the basic analytics. Again, like anything, all of this could have its own video. Each column could have its own long video, but if you just are getting started, you can only learn so much at a time, and you don't have to become a master at everything. All that is an excuse to delay getting started. If you just reference this sheet, you will have plenty of information to start getting some ads out there and start getting some sales coming in, or at least figuring out why sales aren't coming in. And also, I'm going to play a clip from a video that I created earlier about how to define bottlenecks. This is the last thing we're going to cover here because this is getting to 30 minutes, and I don't want to take up too much time. But it is super important that you understand in your course creation journey how to determine where the bottlenecks are. On my weekly coaching calls people often come and ask, hey, I'm not getting sales, what's wrong with my ads? And they assume that the problem is their ads, when in reality, the problem is somewhere else. So we're going to talk about that here in this video clip, and I'll see you right after that. Okay, this is a very important lesson because we're going to cover how we can determine where the bottleneck is in our sales funnel. So if you're running ads, you're not getting the sales volume or the ROI that you're after. Here's how we can determine where the problem is and how to pivot. Now, the most common mistake I've seen in the coaching and mentoring I've done of people selling online products is they always assume the problem is the ads, and they go and they shut off ads that are actually doing their job, when in reality, there's three key places that we need to look for bottlenecks. So I'm going to go ahead and share the iPad screen again here, and we will draw this out. So our three key areas are, first, our ads, which lead to our sales page, which leads to our checkout page, right? So ads, SPs for sales page, CO, checkout. So these are our three areas. Now, our ads job is to get people to our sales page. So when we're looking at our ads, if we're not getting sales, we need to look and say, okay, is our ad getting people to the sales page? And the best way to determine this is going to be your CTR, that's your click-through rate. So the percentage of people seeing your ads that are clicking through. Now, we want to shoot for a 2 to 3% CTR. You can do some research based on your specific niche or industry. 2 to 3 is sort of what I shoot for anytime I'm doing direct sale, low ticket offer ads. Obviously, the higher the better, but if you are below 2%, then that might be an indicator that your ads need some tweaking. So let's say we're good here, right? We're getting 2 to 3% CTR. Great. Then let's look at our sales page. The next thing we want to determine is how many people who are getting to our sales page are moving over to our checkout page. So what's the percent of people coming from here to here? Now we want to shoot for 20 to 30%. That's going to be our goal. So 20% to 30%. So let's say that our ads CTR, let's say we're getting like a 2.8% CTR. We're getting 22% people from our sales page to our checkout page. This stuff's good. But then let's say we look at our checkout page and nobody's buying, right? There's some holdup here on the checkout page where we're getting people to see our ads. We're getting them from our sales page to our checkout. But something here is making them not want to buy. Then we can kind of figure out, all right, our bottleneck must be at our checkout page. So what we're really looking for our checkout page is a conversion rate of between 3 to 5%. So 3 to 5% of this 20 to 30% should be converting into sales. If it's lower than that, then we can determine where our bottleneck is. In this case, it's probably the checkout page. So these are sort of the baselines that I'm after when I'm looking at my data. So quick recap, I always start from the ads and then I work through to the checkout page. If my ad data looks good, I go to my sales page. If my sales page data looks good, I go to my checkout page. Now, sometimes it might be that like your ads suck, your sales page sucks, your checkout page sucks, in which case you just need to go ahead and do some serious tweaking. But this is my rule of thumb for determining where my bottlenecks are. Now, I do want to caveat this, and I'll go ahead and turn off the mirror. But quick caveat, ultimately at the end of the day, ROI is king. So we might have campaigns running where our ads might be at like a 1.8 CTR, which is below our target 2 to 3%. And then the amount of people going from our checkout page to our sales page to our checkout page might be 18%, which is lower than our target 20 to 30%. And then the amount of people buying might be at like 2.8%, which is lower than our 3 to 5%. But if our ROI is solid, then that's fine, because our ROI at the end of the day is what matters. We need to be putting money in and getting more money out. I like to shoot for a 3 to 5x ROI if I can on these LTOs. But again, we need to keep in mind that we are doing subscription-based offers. And if we're doing that on a monthly, if we can get someone in even at break even, if we can get them to re-up the next month, then that's where our profit starts accumulating. So keep these things in mind. But if you are running ads and you're seeing the results are subpar, you can come back here and you can kind of go through this strategy and this system for determining where your bottlenecks might be. Okay, hopefully you got some value from this. I know this is a lot of information. Like I said, each thing could have its own in-depth video. If there's anything you want more information on, comment down below. I'll be happy to go more in-depth. The more information you can provide me and what you want, the better I can get you what you need. But if you found this valuable, go ahead and give it a like. Subscribe if you want more content like this. Again, everything I've referenced is linked down below, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff that you should find really helpful in your course creation journey or just learning about course creation. Also, my email's down there if you want to reach out with any questions. Appreciate you watching. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Peace.